Benchwarmers, welcome back to another fantasy episode. My name is Diego, and I'm joined tonight by Marco Cruz with his new background and his spiffy Arsenal jersey. They tied 1-1 today in the Europa League tie. United with a win, Spurs with a win. I think Leicester City also tied, but this is not about Europa. This is about fantasy, and there are some interesting moves going on for the week coming up. Just a reminder for everyone that would like to follow us and listen to us, you can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms by searching Benchwarmers FC. You can also find us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, by searching Benchwarmers FC1. Marco, you remind everyone where they can see us.
They can watch us at Benchwarmers FC TV.
And you can also write to us by using our email address, benched@benchwarmersfc.com. So, Marco, we had a small little double game week. You're making a stand face already. I think things didn't go as planned, but you might have had, I guess, a decent week. How'd you do?
I did have a decent week. I'm not going to lie. 72 points, which is not bad. The average was 61, so it's above average. It's still not enough. I expected more. And yeah, it bit me in the ass.
Dang. So what was the before we get into, I guess, standings wise, what were the moves that you made that you're saying that didn't work out for you?
So you want to know where I fucked up?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. All right. So where I fucked up, because I jumped the gun, was my brilliant ass decided to bring Calvert-Lewin because before the news of him not being able to play came out. So I jumped the gun. I'm like, he might, because he just coming back. There's a possibility of him going up in price. Let me buy him now. He has 2 games, blah, blah, blah. And he ended up not playing. He's most likely not going to play for another 2 or 3 weeks. So I jumped the gun on him. I did pick up me at the last second. I took a hit. Actually, I took 2 hits. I picked up me from Burnley because, of course, they were having a double header too. Again, bit me in the ass. First game, perfect, no problem, 6 points. Second game, didn't play, wasn't called up, was on the bench. Whatever, let's go, whatever. I took another hit, brought in Gundogan. Bro, destroyed it first game. Got injured, did not play the second game. And the worst part is, I had Gundogan as my captain for, like, I don't know, I want to say maybe like an hour or 2 before the whole thing happened. The first game started. I switched it over to Fernandez. So instead of getting plus, let's say 30 something, because he had like 19 points, right? 16, right. 19 points.
19.
For the one game week. He had 19 points. I ended up putting on Fernandez, which he did score a goal, but he only got me with captaincy 18 points. So, again, another fuck up. But you know what? You live and learn. I guess I've never learned. But I still got 72 points, even though I fucked up so many times. So,
listen, we didn't. I don't think anybody had anticipated what happened with Gundogan, especially a tight groin injury. He should be back for Gameweek 25, as far as what Guardiola and Gundogan himself said on his Twitter. Ben-Mee, unfortunately, was involved in a nasty collision head-to-head. He was, I guess, the medical report was that he was knocked unconscious for a little bit on the field. He was stretchered off with a brace, neck brace, oxygen, everything. And they used the concussion substitute. For the first time in Premier League history, they were able to use the rules that allowed an extra substitute specifically for a player that suffers a suspected concussion. It turns out it was a concussion. He felt fine, but they had to follow the protocol, and that's why he missed the second game. So that's Gundogan and Ben-Mee right there.
Yeah, and like, just again, my luck. We discussed it last week. I bring Marco Alonso in. He doesn't get play time. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to risk it at the time. Let me put him on the bench. What does he do? He plays. What does he get? 7 points.
I think right now having a strong bench is something that's definitely biting a lot of people. And I don't think it's really something that you should worry about too much. Having a strong bench, especially for these game weeks coming up, is not that hurtful. There are some games that are quite difficult for a lot of the popular picks. Just having the differentials to be able to make way and separate yourself from the pack a little bit, I think that's worthwhile. So, what was one of the other players? Oh, the back line. So, if I remember correctly, I think Cancelo didn't play one of the games. Ruben Diaz didn't play one of the games.
But the second one, and then they got scored on.
Yeah, and then they brought him on and they got scored on. So that was very unfortunate. But we're gonna get into what we can look forward to for double game week 25. Right before we do, I had a small green arrow, 90 points on the week. I did captain Gundogan. I took a risk on this double game week and I took a transfer hit. I had Gundogan, I think, from a week before or 2 weeks before, and I took a hit to bring in Ben Mee. And that one kind of backfired because Matt Lowton, I guess, Matt Lowton got a ridiculous 15-pointer with his first goal scored in 8 years. So anyone who brought him in definitely cashed in on their luck. But Gundogan worked out as a captain. I had Bruno Fernandes, and yes, I was very tempted to captain him with West Brom, but especially being a United fan and kind of having them under a magnifying glass a bit more than other players, I guess. I just had a bad feeling about that game. I wouldn't have expected the 1-1, but I had a bad feeling. Like I felt like they were going to struggle a little bit, and lo and behold, they did. He scored a cracker of a goal, but it wasn't that great. My front line suffering. My front line, all three of them are injured now. I have Calvert-Lewin. I took a punt on Cavani, and he didn't play. And it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good for me as far as the front line. But right now, I'm looking at a few players for the double coming up. Double game week 25. We have Leeds playing twice. So Leeds play Wolves, and then they play Southampton. Southampton played twice simply because they face Chelsea, and then they play Leeds as well. So that's their double. They each have a game, and then they play each other. I think that this could be an opportunity for some people to jump on some bandwagons early. And using the doubles, I think it's a good opportunity to maybe take a hit. So for me, double game week 24, I took a hit. I transferred in Ben Mee first, and then I took a hit and brought in Cavani. I thought that with at least Ben Mee possibly getting 2 clean sheets, that would have offset taking that hit. And it technically did. It let me captain Gundogan. I didn't have to worry about my defense. I went double Burnley, so I had Pope and Ben Mee. I'm kind of stuck with Pope now, which is tying up my funds a little bit, but I'm not worried about that for the time being. I think double game weeks, especially these small ones, are a good opportunity to kind of take a few risks. So, Marco, what is your gap right now? Just checking in on the challenge. Where are you at as far as the gap versus Marco wager?
Again, it worked out. I got my points, 72, but Gat walked away with 71 this week. So the gap hasn't really gotten shorter or hasn't stretched. It remains at around 72 to 75 points. I don't want to make the math right now, so it stays there as of this week. He didn't take advantage of the double headers. I tried to see if I can, but it kind of didn't work out for me.
I washed out a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, you live, learn, and I'm definitely gonna try to take advantage of this upcoming one.
Yes, I think that would be to your benefit. We were just talking about it off air right before we recorded. There is a very tight group. There's a very tight pack of three managers.
Yeah. So just to more of a recap. So you're in first place, of course. You got 90 points this week. You got 1,487. Then on the Benchwarmers side, you got Josue is the closest one to you, which is he's in 6th place with 1,403. And then right below that is Eric, then Gat, then Nico. Gat and Eric have exactly the same points. They're at 1,367. and then Nico's at 1357, so 10 points below them. So that's going to be interesting to see who makes, if it's going to go with Eric not making any moves or get copying what I do. So so basically he looks at what I got and like, I'm gonna get that too. So he plays a system. And then all the way at the bottom, if you scroll way past Neverland, you'll find me at 20th place with 1284. And then below me is Eddie with 1163.
It's not, I mean, the spread is a little bit wide, but it's not anything that can't be overcome, because you're within that 50-point range that, you know what, even in these double games that are coming up, not just 25, but 26, which is going to be a very big one. And for the next episode, we're going to break down how you can navigate that 26 and what players to bring in. But for right now, though, 3 players that I want to highlight, Marco, and let our listeners know, 3 players that they could target for this double game week 25. And I keep repeating it, but it's smart to maybe plan ahead and maybe make the transfer. Right now, as far as the price changes, we're about 5 minutes from the changes actually taking place. And one of the names I'm going to throw out there, very commonly owned, you might already have him on your team anyway, but Patrick Bamford is going to be the number 1 pick for a lot of teams. There's something called effective ownership, which is the amount of teams that have him and then the amount of teams that captain him. So I think that's going to be very high. A lot of teams have had Patrick Bamford for quite a while, simply because in the beginning he was cheap and then he got a good run of form and then more teams picked him up. I myself had Bamford for a little bit, and it was for a very short period of time where he went through a dry spell. So I dumped him already for my Antonio Wilson double up, which did all right for a very, very short time. But it wasn't the greatest return of points. Patrick Bamford, though, if you have him, definitely consider captaining him for this double game week coming up. If you don't, I think it could be worth bringing him in. They have some interesting fixtures moving forward. And if you have any other Leeds players, I think that could be interesting as well for you. The other name that I want to throw out there is Rafinha. Rafinha is 5.4 million, if I'm not mistaken, 80 points. His last game weeks have been pretty well. He's got a double-digit 13-pointer, 9, 6, 5, and I think an 8 somewhere in there. He's mostly been assisting his team. He scored the odd goal, but here's the thing. He's bargain cheap, very close to a very popular Souček, who goes up against Tottenham this week. So maybe even if you want to take a punt on Rafinha and you won't lose and you don't have that much, I know for many teams, at least the team value in the bank is not much of an issue. It's not anything to worry about because a lot of people have extra money lying around. We picked this up on a fantasy episode quite a few weeks ago where some of the budget players were going to be more popular, and that ended up happening. You know, not a lot of people have premiums. Not a lot of teams have Son or Kane. And right now is around the time they're going to try to pick them back up. But we're waiting for Spurs to kind of kick up. Speaking of kicking up, though, one person that did get a goal, and it was a pretty good goal at that, a nice volley, nice half volley midair, Danny Ings. So Danny Ings, for me, this is my personal take on Danny Ings. So anyone that needs the disclaimer, I recommend that you go find it because I'm not going to go through it right now. Danny Ings, he just hasn't been the same. I'm this close to bringing him in. It's 826, very close to the 830 mark for the price changes. I know I'm not hard pressed for cash, but I just hate having a player that I'm going to pick up anyway go up in price when I could have had him before. The thing is that with Danny Ings, yes, he has the double facing Chelsea, and then he chases Leeds in the return for the second fixture. But I don't know. He has some good matches after that. So maybe the long term, Danny Ings would be good. I picked him up after his, I think it was knee surgery that he got, if I'm not mistaken. And he just hasn't looked the same. Like he tries very hard. Don't get me wrong, Marco. But he's like, I don't know. It's like, you know, when a player comes back from like maybe a very career threatening injury and they just happen to play safe. They just don't go for the same balls. They don't go for the same runs. They don't risk themselves as much. I think that's what's plaguing Danny Ings. I could be completely wrong. And I could be completely wrong, but still, Danny Ings, if you want to take a punt on someone that has a double game week and kind of cushion yourself, even if you take the hit, it might be a wash. So, 2 points and 2 points. The -4 is already covered for there. So you get an extra chance for free, basically, if you want to look at it that way. Just to recap, Bamford, Rafinha, Ings, 3 players that I'm picking out for the double that's coming up, which, by the way, again, as a reminder, the deadline is on Friday. There's a Friday match, which is Leeds and Wolves. It's going to be a very interesting one. Marco, looking at your squad right now, do you have any players that can cover you for this double?
Yeah, yes, I had Bamford. I've had Bamford for forever. I think since the beginning. So I stuck with him throughout the bad times. I have my I have my goalkeeper, McCarthy, but I don't think he's gonna be using or he's not producing. I just have him on the bench, so that's kind of like a waste. And then I also I believe I have one more. I have Bednarik from Southampton.
Bednarik, Jan Bednarik, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for butchering his
The
name.
-7.
Correct. Yes. Thankfully, he was on the bench. Well, he gave me a 0 last game, but anyway, I have him. So I have I have 2, 3. 2 will be used. I'm considering bringing somebody else in, maybe 2 players. Take a hit. I just don't know who to drop. So yeah, I'm debating.
Do you have any City assets?
Two City players. I have Diaz and I have Gundogan.
Marco. All right, you know what? I'm gonna cut you off, man, because I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna make it right now.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Who are you bringing?
I've been talking a lot of shit.
Tell me, who are you bringing in? I might copy you. Please don't tell me things.
I'm taking a hit. I'm dumping Calvert-Lewin.
Okay. I feel you on that. I'm doing that too.
I'm bringing in Danny fucking Ings.
You're gonna do it.
Calvert-Lewin's
going out for 7.7, and Danny Ings is 8.2, I think, or 8.0.
Right now, yes, he is 8. No, he's 8.4.
Oh,
he's gonna go up to 8.5, which was I think 8.5 was his original price, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I can't do it. I don't have that kind of cash. I don't have that kind of coins on my bench.
Oh yeah, 8.5. 8.5 was his original evaluation.
Okay.
So he's gonna go back up to 8.5. I could have gotten him at 8.3, maybe 4 weeks ago. But look, listen to his points. Ready? Since 1, 2, 3, 4, his last 5 matches were not including this one that he scored. His last 5 matches were 2, 2, 2, 2, 0. And then when he came back from injury, when he wasn't minutes managed, he had a small cameo and he scored. That was back all the way back in Gameweek 11, I think, that he scored a penalty. Since then, I think he's only had returns twice. So this might come and bite me in the ass because I took another hit. But here's the thing. Between now and basically Gameweek 32, Southampton play weak-ish teams. They play Sheffield, they play Brighton, they play West Brom, they play Palace. I think holding on to Ings for a bit might pay off. We'll see. I could have brought in Bamford, and it's gonna hurt me, and I'm scared. But I don't see Bamford doing it against Wolves.
Wow. So you're not only saying not doing it, but you also at the beginning of the podcast said that we should captain him. So which is it?
Yes. I'm saying if you have him, thank you for allowing me to clarify, Marco, and not trying to throw me under the bus. I appreciate that segue. I think people, if they have Bamford on their team, if you've had him especially for a long time and you have value tied up in him, captain him. Why? Because, and I'll look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. Bamford's ownership, I think, is somewhere ridiculous around 50%. What is it? 56%. This is a player that is in more than half of the freaking teams right now in fantasy. If you don't have him and he returns, and then he's captained by all these people that are going to be like, oh, look, he has a double, I'm going to captain him. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So I'm running that risk. But the thing is that I think in the long term, even though Bamford might punish me, I don't see him. I don't see him getting past Wolves. They lost to Wolves 1-0 at the beginning of the season. And Wolves have been bleeding for results. I think they could have a better defensive display. Maybe this comes back to bite me in the ass, and you think of me when Leeds score freaking 35 seconds into the first half. But again, they play Wolves, and then when they haven't played Southampton yet because that's been postponed. If anything, I think he might get a return against Southampton. But once they play each other, I feel like Danny Ings has just as well of a chance of scoring on Leeds, because Leeds get scored on almost every game. They concede a lot.
Yeah,
so
that's why I don't
anyway,
have any
that's my little rant on Bamford versus Ings. I went Ings. I did it right now, right when we're recording, because I got scared of the price rise, and I feel like some people might jump on him. I've had Ings already early in the season, and it bit me in the ass, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And if anything, getting Ings lets me transfer up to Kane later on, because his value is a bit higher. I think I have right now maybe like 2 million in the bank, or 1 point something. I'm going to have to downgrade Pope later on. I'm going to keep Martinez for the rest of the season. I would suggest anyone that doesn't have Martinez now just to pick him up. He's been by far the best goalkeeper fantasy-wise. If you want to tie up some funds and get Ederson, I guess you can do that too. But Martinez is 5, Ederson is 6.1. You're saving almost. Oh no, sorry, that's my value. Martinez is 5.3 right now, and Ederson is 6.1. So you're basically saving about 1 million just on that. And Martinez has him outscored by almost 20 points. So anyway, I think having the double of Martinez and Pope for this double game week that just passed was a bit of a headache, because I got Pope for an extra week. I'm going to keep Pope on there again because they play West Brom. Aston Villa have somewhat difficult match against Leicester City, a Leicester with Vardy back and Harvey Barnes shooting well. So I'm not sure. The one person that I would have liked to bring up for everyone is Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish hasn't been returning as of late. He's been mentioned in every single stat, I guess, like post or whatever, for the most chances created and most fouls earned or suffered or whatever it may be. He's got a few assists. He's got 3 assists in I think his last 6 matches, but he's only scored once, where in the beginning of the season he was scoring a bit more frequently, at least. I don't know. I think for 7.7, I feel like Grealish might be my next player to upgrade. Because I have 2.8 in the bank. I could easily upgrade Ings to Kane if this doesn't work out. And Kane and Son, from now until about April, they don't play anyone really difficult. Arsenal is the most difficult match there. West Ham, Burnley, Palace, Newcastle. Now, the thing that I want to point out is there is another double game week, which is big in 26. So the week after this. But then there's a blank in game week 29. And you might want to make sure that you look at that for what players you want to have on your team. You could wildcard if you still have it and set yourself up for game week 26. I'm still debating that, but personally, I think once game week 29 is over, which is a very big blank, I think only four matches are being played, or 5. You can reset your team with the wild card and then set yourself up for the rest of the season real nice from 30 to 38. Marco, we've been going at it a little bit here. I'm going to ask you straight up now, just based on the team that you have now, who are you looking to put the armband on for 25?
Oh man. Bamford it is.
Bamford it is. All right. All
Yeah.
right. You know what? I am aware about Fernandez not doing great at home. In fact, I think the argument is he just does better away. Fernandez is very, very pivotal to the team. He played today. So here's the thing. I feel like with the European matches now in the mix, I'm more afraid of rotation and getting their minutes managed. I don't think Fernandez is going to suffer that necessarily, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, say, for example, they take a 1-0 or a 2-0 lead, Fernandez isn't involved, and then he gets subbed off early. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm a little afraid of that. And now that I have Ings, I gave myself another headache. I don't think that he's going to score against Chelsea, as much as I hate to say that, but Chelsea have been very well defensively. They've been doing very well. I could slap it back on Gundogan, but even though he said he could come back, I'm a little afraid of him getting rotated. So hear me out. I'm going to consider either Pope. I haven't done this yet this season. I have not captained a keeper.
I've never done it.
Pope
the 3
against
seasons
West
I've done
Brom. Pope against West Brom, if I'm not mistaken, got 11 points earlier this season. That's as good as a midfielder getting 2 goals, essentially. That would be baller. I feel proud about that. But I feel like for Salah, I'm gonna rely on the fact that Everton have been wank. I'm gonna say it just like that. They've been terrible. Everton's defense, they just lost to a Fulham side that not a lot of teams have been afraid of, and they got dominated, straight played off the park. And that's saying a lot. They got played off the park. They had nothing. Calvert-Lewin, I don't think he's going to come back yet. If he does come back, he's going to be very, very, like a very short cameo, I think. I feel like Liverpool are going to take advantage of this bad Everton defense, and they're going to go wild. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm counting on for Salah. So right now, I'm not decided yet, but for anyone listening, I'm sitting on the fence between Salah and Pope, straight up. Ben Mee, I know that he will feature. I'm hoping that maybe he gets a nice header goal against West Brom to make up for the missed match in the double. I have Dallas and Ings to cover me for the doubles as well. Dallas has been playing very, very advanced. Cancelo has playing very, very advanced. He's playing almost like a midfielder that last game against Everton. So our bands, just for the show's sake and for this episode, I'm going to leave it on Salah. I will sleep on it. I may change that if I want to be extra, extra safe. I don't see West Brom scoring against Burnley, but maybe, you know what, I think to make it more fun, I could just keep it on Salah. So Salah captain, that's my final answer.
Okay. I mean, ballsy, but
yeah. And the thing is that I think a lot of teams are probably running into this. They're stuck with triple West Ham or double West Ham. And West Ham, oh my God. West Ham play Spurs, City, and United and Arsenal in their next 5. That's rough. So I feel like now more than ever is probably the best time to dump City assets. City assets.
United.
Now's the time to dump West Ham assets. See, I'm the same thing with you. Thinking they're another team. But yeah, I have Antonio, Soufal, and Souček. I got to get rid of at least 2 of them. I think I might keep Souček just for how cheap he is.
Yeah.
I might move him to Smith Rowe. I like how Smith Rowe is more involved with the team, and that he's so damn cheap. I think he's 4.3, so he's definitely an enabler. And it would let me not worry about my bench at all for the rest of the season. I could probably afford not just Kane, but maybe even upgrade Grealish to Son. I don't know. My moves are definitely all over the place. I don't want to confuse anyone that's listening or following along. But those are the tips for this week. If you want to build up on your leads in Southampton, by all means, this is the time to do it. And rule of thumb for a double game week, if you want to take a hit to bring in a player that's playing twice, that's a good time to do so, especially if you want to hold on to them long term. Because if anything, they'll make up for the hit for those 2 games that they play.
Yeah, just
that's what I've just done. Yeah, just hope that they play, I guess. Not like Chilwell, who screwed me over quite a few times. But I think that's it for tonight's episodes. I will have a strategy with our fellow benchwarmers for the next one, so that we can go over how we can tackle double game week 26, and just so that I look at all of the matches that are already confirmed, or at least rumored to be confirmed for that game week. And I'm just pulling up the infamous calendar made by Ben Krellen. I would suggest that anyone that is following our fantasy pod and that has their own fantasy team to follow Ben Krellen on Twitter. So we have doubles for City, Villa, Spurs, Everton, Burnley, United, Palace, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Wolves. And there's a possibility of maybe one or 3 more. So it's going to be a big one. I'm very tempted at maybe wildcarding for that. But again, game week 29, right now there's only 5 matches that are confirmed for sure. And there might be 2 more added with there might be 1 more match added with Aston Villa and Spurs playing each other. So we might have a grand total of 6 matches being played for game week 26. So I will have a breakdown for that for anyone who would like to plan a little bit ahead and maybe see if they would consider using the wild card or what the strategy will be for the wild card afterward. So stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone for making it this far into the latest episode of our fantasy podcast. Marco, thank you for sitting through with me and sharing the
pain, hurt.
Yeah, I guess sharing the pain, the awful experiences, but we all go through that.
You're in first place.
We remind everybody this is a marathon, not a sprint. So thank you all for listening. My name is Diego, signing off with Marco. We're the Benchwarmers. This is the Bench with a Voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.